Okay, welcome to the session on diacritics. So, diacritics are those special symbols that you see above names or words in the system. And I just shared my screen, so you should now be able to see the Evergreen client. Let me know if you can't. I did a search in the system for records that might need to be corrected, and this was one of them. Last edited in April of 2018. So I wanted to bring these records up to kind of show you what you might be seeing with the records you're bringing in. In this particular case, there's the author Whitfield, and it comes in with this funny symbol that doesn't look like anything that should be. And it isn't always easy to tell from that symbol what it should be. So after a while, you start to see a pattern. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a search on WorldCat. For this particular item. And let me hop back over to Evergreen and go ahead and get the 024. Copy it into WorldCat search. And by looking at the actors that are in this particular film, or producers, anybody who has some kind of connection with this film, you see that this is actually supposed to be an E with a accent above it. So if I come back over to the Evergreen client, what I can do to correct this is to highlight those bad characters and hit Control S. That brings up the symbol table, and then I can select the E with the accent above it, and it changes it in the record. Click on Save, and that particular record is now fixed. Does that process seem pretty straightforward?
Yeah, it looks great. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to go.
Can I ask you a quick question?
You can, yes.
In the past, just doing one character or a piece of didn't always take it. Has that changed? Yes.
I don't think it has changed, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Dia. In this case, we were grabbing two characters, so we didn't have any issue. Sometimes, if I'm just trying to change the character itself, for instance, in front of the copyright date, it didn't seem to change it. You had to, what I've done is I just retyped the date. How do you handle it, Dia?
That's what I do as well.
Okay.
I change the copyright symbol and then add the date.
Yeah.
And I generally like in the case where you just did, just doing the whole name and then typing the symbol from the symbol chart.
Where there's a couple characters, you don't have to do that, which is nice.
Good to know.
Yeah, it'll save you some time, and we may come across another example of an idiosyncrasy as we work through another couple of examples. I only created a file of bad authors or potential bad authors. I didn't. I need to go back through and also create an error file for titles and subjects. With the authors, when I did the search this morning, I came up with 97. which isn't bad when you consider how many records we have in the system. We had more of a problem with this when we were bringing in records from Z39.50 from certain sources. And what we did was we just changed those sources to grab records from other libraries. So we weren't seeing as many of those characters coming into our system. Okay, now that brings up a question. I mean, look at this, it changed back again. So, Dia might be right. I might have to retype the whole name because those characters are next to another group of characters. So let's see what happens when I highlight the whole name and click on the symbol table. It's like, are you really going to change? Yes. And did I get the name right? Yes. Okay. So I thought it was going to work, but when you click on the save button, it doesn't actually save it correctly. So it's a good thing we looked at it again. I'm hoping that that's an issue that has been corrected in the most recent, in the latest version of Evergreen. If not, I think we need to report it as a bug because it's extra work the catalogers have to go through. So let's go through another example. All right. Another video. Okay, so I'm looking at the author fields because that's what my error report is keying on. And there wasn't a 100. So, oh, okay, down here in the 700, we have another one that I think should be an E with an accent above it. We can do a search to make sure that that's correct. Some of these people might be recognizable to you and you know right off what the symbol should be. Okay, so here we see Michael Paré listed. So yes, it confirms that yes, that should be. So I'm going to highlight the whole last name.
It's also in the 511 field as well.
Okay, thanks. Okay, it didn't do it correctly. All right.
Because of the comma being next to it, maybe?
Maybe.
Is it?
Okay. Dia, have you typically typed in or did the symbol and then typed the rest of the author's name in front?
Can't remember for sure.
Okay.
May have.
Yeah, we'll try it a couple different ways. And here's this 511. So I'll try PAR, Control S, bring in the E. Click on Save. And let's see, no, it removed it. There again, it could be because of the period. So let's try typing R, Control S, accent E, and then period. Click on Save. And that appeared to have worked. So if there's anything around it, you have to grab the whole thing. Unless you type the symbol first and then add the other letters. That seems to work too. So there's a couple different ways that you can get that in there. More kludgy than it should be.
When you're working with things like those, if you don't find the record in OCLC, which sometimes could happen, another video place that you could look for how to spell the person's name is in the Internet Movie Database, imdb.com. Okay. You search by the title, and then you usually get the character, or not the characters, but the crew or the staff or actors or whatever they call it. I can't remember.
Do you offhand remember if we have that on our resources? If not, I'm thinking it should be something we could add to the web page.
I don't know if we do. We've talked about it in years past, but I don't really remember.
Okay. Let me check, and if not, I'll add it so that folks, if they forget the link or the website, it'll be up there. Okay, we'll try one more example. Okay, now here's an interesting one. It says it's an ebook text. Okay, it's probably Columbia Gorge. Yep. Okay. So in this case, what? I'm sorry, the 700?
I think it's in the 700 because it was an added author.
Yeah. Yep, good point. And it is. So we've got a strange configuration here.
Another way you might try is do a right click and check the authorities file, because it's not in the last name. You might grab it as quickly that way.
Yeah, that's true. So let's, I don't know whether I can bring this over here. Yeah, it is in the authority database. I had to look at the author's name again. So we have it right here. So something we could do is, rather than typing it in with the symbol table, let's see if this will work. Yep. By clicking Apply Full Authority, it corrects the diacritics for us, which is a savings for us. So another example of a way to correct the record. Yet another ebook. Okay. Let's try the right click again, see if this is in the system. Doesn't look like it.
Is it the Josie Massey?
It might. I think what I'll do is do a quick search to make sure I really grabbed the right one. I'm thinking we did, but it doesn't hurt to double check. Yep. So this record on WorldCat confirms that we did choose the right author, right authority record. So it could be that most of the errors I'm going to find are because of a batch update of ebooks, but I thought it was important to have this session because you're going to occasionally encounter records that you import that have these strange characters, and we want you to correct them at import so that the patrons are seeing the right configuration in the catalog of these terms, and also make sure that we don't have any searching issues as a result.
So do you want to describe what a right would look like if it came in incorrectly? Copy.
You were kind of breaking up, Dia. You were talking about copyright.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what it looks like? I don't know that we can find a record that.
Well, that was going to be my difficulty, finding one that's incorrect.
Well, I can explain what it looks like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So do you all know what the let's see, is it production copyright? That's a P, so wiggle around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like a flat symbol, like you see in music. Those took the circulars preceding the date in the 264 is the copyright symbol, 2 characters that comes in incorrectly. So it would just need to be changed to that C with the circle around it.
Yes.
That symbol.
You're right. It's a PB with the P having a circle around it, and if for instance we assume that this one had a PB, we would just highlight the whole thing, do the copyright symbol, which is right here, and then type in 2015 again. I don't know that I'm seeing it very frequently, but it does occur. Percentage-wise, do you have a guess, Dia?
I see it quite often.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've corrected it quite often, too.
Yeah. And it is a common one that needs correcting. I think even more common than author names. Per se. Most of the time those are correct coming in. But it's good to be aware of all the situations that you might have to look at when you're reviewing your record once you bring it in. So any questions before we sign off? Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you.